Charles II. So coming in, hands up, who knew Charles II had 16 children? His wife, by the way, had none. Now you know why he was known as the Merry Monarch. After the death of his father, this young man, James Scott, was persuaded to stake his claim to the throne of England. He landed down in the west country of England and swept inland, gathering Protestant support in what became known as the Monmouth Rebellion. That rebellion was crushed at the Battle of Sedgemoor on the 6th of July, 1685. But James Scott escaped. He was, however, captured a week later, and having been condemned to death in his absence, was taken out there onto Tower Hill for his public execution. It proved to be one of the bloodiest executions ever to take place in English history. The execution that particular day was a man known as Jack Ketch. Now you may not be aware of this, but executioners were not paid by the state. The only money they received for carrying out their gruesome task was from the condemned man himself. It was custom or tradition that as a nobleman walked onto that scaffold to die, he would reach into his purse, take out a handful of gold coins, and hand them to his executioner. You were actually paying to ensure the task was carried out efficiently and quickly. Some people here in London used to refer to this money as severance pay. The jokes really don't get much better. Now, on this particular day, as James Scott walked onto that scaffold to die, he met Jack Ketch stood there with his hand out, ready for that customary bribe. James Scott decided he would not pay someone to remove his royal head. He pushed a hand to one side, knelt down, placed his neck on that block of oak, and told Jack Ketch to get on with his duty. Jack Ketch therefore raised the axe high into the air, and with the full strength of a 6'4" man with no money, he brought it crashing down. Now, whether by design or by accident, we will never know. But what we do know is this: the blade sank squarely into his shoulder blades. At which point, amazingly, James Scott turned his head, looked up at Jack Ketch and said to him, "You do that again, I cannot promise to keep my head still." Jack Ketch put his foot on James's back to steady the body, grabbed hold of the axe and ripped it from his shoulder blades, and took a second blow across the back of the head. At which point, not surprisingly, James Scott moved, because the third blow of the axe sliced down the side of his head, removing one ear and embedding into his shoulder. The fourth blow again hit the shoulder blades. Finally, the fifth stroke of the axe sank into his neck, about 2 inches.
Oh my goodness.
Jack Ketch therefore grabbed hold of the axe, ripped it from his neck, and threw it to one side. He pulled out a butcher's carving knife, pulled back the head, and carved it off. Now, for some strange reason, this time, instead of that head going down to London Bridge, as was the custom, it was brought back here into the tower, along with his mutilated corpse. And the two were then sewn together before he was buried 24 hours later in our Chapel Royal. And to this very day, we don't know why. It's one of the many, many mysteries of the Tower of London. Now, some of you out here are starting to look a little bit squeamish. What exactly did you expect? This is the Tower of London. Still has that